Hello ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe I'm saying this right now, but I'm only 500 subscribers away from 10,000. So if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. If you're an OG, thanks for coming back. As you can see from my last couple purchases, I am officially a Honda fanboy. But in today's video, we're gonna talk about the 5 things that I hate about my Honda Beat. So I've owned this car for about a month now. There's some things I love, there's some things I hate. I'm gonna make a separate video about the 5 things I love. But there's certain things on this car that, 1, are very underwhelming, and 2, I just really don't like. So without further ado, let's get into the first thing I hate about this car. And newsflash to anybody who's watching this, the Honda Beat is small. But how small is it, you may ask? Let's pop the trunk. Yeah, that's your trunk. And look, I've owned many K cars. I own 7 NA Miatas. I understand what it's like having a 2-seater roadster, but with the Miata, you get a trunk. With the Cappuccino, you even get a trunk. With the Honda Beat, I'm gonna show you guys 2 things that fit back here. A shoebox, standard shoebox, nothing fancy. That fits right there, barely clears it at that. And then a booster. 2 things. There you go. There's all your trunk space. Which is why, first thing I did when I bought this car, remove the spare, and now we have a little more storage. So now what I do sometimes is I grab my book bag, and I'll put it up here. Of course, if you don't have a passenger, you can put some stuff in the passenger side, but sometimes I have a passenger, so there's where my book bag goes. I put the little stuff that I need to fit back here, and then it makes life a little easier. So just keep that in mind. I knew the Beat was small when I bought it. I knew I didn't have a lot of trunk space, but I didn't know it would be that impractical, which led me to buy this. You do get some interior storage space, I'm not gonna lie. I have my little cassette holder here that has some Dunkaroos, funny enough, I forgot this was here. And then you also get a glove box that can fit some stuff. And then if you have the top up, which is also a really great space, you have that right there. But the whole point of buying a Beat is having a top down, so I don't really count this as storage space because 99% of the time, I got the top down. Number 2, and I'm going in no specific order, the Beat is not that fun. I had to sit down for this one. So as someone that owned a lot of K cars, I had a couple K vans, a Jimny, a Wagonar, 2 K trucks. I think what makes the driving experience so fun on these cars is that there's nothing like this. Although this is a bread box on wheels, it's not fast or anything like that, this driving experience is a lot more fun than the Beat. Because if I wanted to buy something like this, where do I find it? There's nothing in the American market that's similar to this. It's still manual, sometimes 4-wheel drive. I'm sitting a lot higher than everybody else, and then I have no hood. It's like a complete different driving experience that I'm used to. When it comes to the Beat, if I want a rear-wheel drive roadster, I could just buy an NA Miata. I could even buy a Del Sol if I want. So this is something that I could find. I've had this driving experience countless times when I owned my Miata. So when I got this car, I was like, yeah, you know, maybe it'll be fun, baby NSX, rear engine, all that stuff. And it just isn't doing it for me. Like, this is going to be sold much quicker than the street, and it's not even because of practicality, it's just not fun. I could obviously add some things that I do love about the car, like the shifter and stuff like that, but I'll say that for the video I love. But really, when it comes down to, this car is just super underwhelming, especially for an ABC car. I think the Cappuccino is the best by far. If you want to count money into the aspect, I think the AZ1 is probably the least fun, because for $20,000, no K car is worth that. But when it comes to the Beat, I would say this is number 2. The Cappuccino is number 1, because you can still drop the top and do all that stuff, and it's just turbo and much faster. So that's number 2 on my list. That may change over time, because I do have a lot of parts that I'm going to add to this car. I have front and rear strut bars, I have an intake coming in, I'm gonna see if I can find some trumpets, maybe get some coilovers eventually. But as of right now, it's a very underwhelming car for me. Number 3 on the list is going to be everything you need to do to get access to the engine. I do think it's a little ridiculous that I have to completely unzip this from here, go all the way around like that, along with these 3 screws here, and then these 3 screws here, pull this up, take the carpet off, do all that just so I can change the spark plugs and wires or check out the things that's happening under there. I think that's a little annoying. Changing out the air filter, I wouldn't say is the worst. Changing the oil honestly isn't the worst. It's actually super easy. But for the main things, the things that you really need, the fact that I need to basically remove my soft top, I think that's pretty annoying. And if I would be honest, those are really the 3 things that I hate about this car. If I had to add 2 more, I would say the fact that it's really common to find the clusters and the ECUs aren't working 100%. Luckily, mine has no issues, but I know a lot of people that the speedometer doesn't work, The tach doesn't work, it doesn't light up too bright. And then along with the ECU getting cooked back there, that's something that's a little annoying. Luckily, I don't have that problem, so I'm kind of just throwing that on the list if I'm being honest. So I'm gonna give you 2 honorable mentions before we get into the last thing I hate about the Honda Beat. Number 1 is gonna have to be, most of the Beats that I've seen all have this little imperfection here, just from getting in and out of the car for the last 25 years. And I know you could buy seat covers for these. I actually have a box of brand new seat covers inside, but I feel like the zebra seats make this car so iconic, especially if you have the zebra floor mats to match. So I'm thinking of just leaving it like this, just because I feel like the car looks a lot cooler. And trust me when I say I've done my due diligence to try to find the replacement pieces for this, and they're just either too expensive or they just don't exist. Honorable mention number 2 is, if you guys know, the Beats come with staggered rims. The fronts are 13 by 4.5 and the rears are 14 by 5s, which in my opinion is pretty sick. But when it comes to swapping rims like I did, now I have 14 by 5s all around. And as someone like me trying to be OEM plus and make the car just as cool as it was when it was created, I don't love the fact that I have 14s all around. So to find K-car rims in general, already super difficult. Now to find staggered K-car rims, it just makes life almost impossible. There was a set of TEs on UpGarage that I saw. I think they were like $1,000. I was even considering buying those just so I can have like one of the coolest Beats ever, but I don't want to spend $1,000 on TEs, especially 2 different rims. It kind of makes it hard to sell if you end up trying to just sell these rims. Like, I'm thinking about maybe putting these on the van so I could easily just swap that over, but it's kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. And then number 5, the most annoying thing is kind of piggybacking off number 3. Working on this car is very difficult. Working on a Honda Street, or really any Honda K car, I've been saying over and over, is very difficult. People like to say that they're super easy. They sometimes want to compare it to a sandbar. That's just not realistic. Engine location on this car to do maintenance is not the easiest. Engine location on this guy, not the easiest. Engine location on any Acti, not the easiest. So I think when it comes to doing a timing belt, it's going to be a mission and a half to do it on this car, in comparison to maybe this other K cars like a Cappuccino. Like I said, would be super easy. A sandbar would be super easy. Even the high jets, just because they're under the seat, a lot easier. So I think doing maintenance, let alone just finding the thing, is a little annoying, but actually getting down there after removing all this is gonna be a hassle. So those are gonna be the 5 things I hate about the Beat. Trust me, it was a lot easier to find 5 things I love. That video is coming soon, but I end this video here. Catch you guys on the next one. More Beat content coming soon. I think I'm gonna wrap it next week. I should have my new soft top plastic coming in. Intake should be here any day now. I have an S2000 antenna that's coming soon. I'm gonna use a rubber wheel to get this off. We're gonna clean all that up because that's also pissing me off. And yeah, let's transform this thing, make it the coolest Beat that I've ever had. Along with this guy, we gotta find some rims for this because I don't love the way those hubs look. As you guys saw in my last video, it vibrates a little too much at 80 kilometers an hour. I'm gonna see if I maybe swap those on there and put the Beat rims back on. But yeah, bunch of Honda content coming soon. You guys know I love me a good old Honda. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Remember the name. This is way before the fame.